meant I was about to own the entire building, including the very penthouse they tried to kick me out of. You won't believe what I did.
My name is Marlene Rose Thibodeau, and I'm 74 years young. Up until last spring, I was just another widow living in a double-wide on Back Bay, Biloxi. I lived on my late husband James' Social Security, and whatever I could win at Friday night bingo down at St. Michael's. Everyone called me Miss Marlene, asked for my banana nut bread recipe, and that was just fine by me. I raised one son, Travis, the old-fashioned way, church on Sundays, supper on the table at 6 sharp, and a switch across the legs if he sassed me. Travis did real good for himself. He married Courtney, who sells timeshares at Beau Rivage and talks like she was born with a silver spoon instead of a plastic one like the rest of us. They bought a penthouse condo on the 22nd floor of the brand new Azure Towers, right on the beach. White marble, floor-to-ceiling windows, a balcony big enough for 50 people. Courtney called it our forever home. I just called it pretty, and I meant it. Last April, Courtney decided to throw a high-roller weekend for Travis's 40th birthday. She invited all the casino VIP hosts, a couple of minor country singers, and the general manager of the Beau. She told me I could come, but only on Friday evening before the real guests arrived on Saturday. "You'll love the sunset from the balcony, Mama Marlene," she said over the phone, her voice as sweet as stevia. "But Saturday is black tie and we don't want you feeling out of place." I should have known right then something was off. I put on my best dress, a navy blue chiffon ID worn to Travis' wedding, and drove my old Crown Vic the 10 minutes to Azure Towers. The valet looked at my car like it might give the Ferrari parked next to it a disease, but I handed him the keys anyway. Up on the 22nd floor, the condo just sparkled. Everything was white and gold. Courtney floated around in a champagne-colored dress that probably cost more than my trailer. She hugged me quick, air-kissed both cheeks so she wouldn't mess up her makeup, and said, "Mama Marlene, you look comfortable." Travis gave me a real hug, but I could tell he was already halfway drunk on all the attention. They had this long dining table set up for 20 people, with place cards and fancy calligraphy. Mine wasn't there. Courtney pulled me aside. "We're one chair short, sugar. Would you mind eating in the kitchen? The caterers will fix you a plate, and you can watch the game on the little TV. That way you don't have to make small talk with people you don't know." I just stood there, holding my purse like a fool. The caterer, a young woman who looked so sorry for me, took my elbow and led me past all the laughing guests and into the kitchen. She fixed me a plate, shrimp and grits, filet mignon, asparagus with hollandaise, and set it on a folding card table right next to the dishwasher. I ate every single bite. My pride wouldn't let me leave a crumb. When I finished, I walked back through the dining room. Courtney was telling everybody how her mother-in-law just loves to help in the kitchen. It's her happy place. The guests all laughed politely. Travis wouldn't even meet my eyes. I got my purse, thanked the caterer, and took the elevator down all by myself. In the parking garage, the valet had left my car way out back, behind the dumpsters. I guess he figured it belonged there. I drove home crying so hard I had to pull over twice. That night, I sat on my little screened-in porch, smoking a cigarette I had no business smoking at my age, just staring at the bay water. I told the moon, "Lord, if this is how my own blood treats me, I don't need nobody." Well, the Lord, as it turns out, has a wonderful sense of humor. 3 weeks later, I got a letter from a law firm in Mobile. Hebert & Son, attorneys at law. Inside was a notice that my late husband James's first cousin, Delton Thibodeau, a man nobody had seen since 1987, had passed away in Las Vegas. He had no wife, no children, and a will that left everything to my dearest cousin-in-law Marlene Rose, the only one who ever wrote me Christmas cards. Delton, it turned out, had spent 35 years buying up beachfront lots in Biloxi and Gulfport when nobody else wanted them. Hurricane Camille had scared folks off back in '69, and Delton bought low. Then, when the casinos came in the '90s, those same lots turned into pure gold. When the accountant finished adding it all up, I owned 6 condominium buildings on Highway 90, 2 beachfront hotels, the parking garage right next to the Beau Rivage. And this is the part that made me laugh right out loud. The entire Azure Towers building, including the penthouse on the 22nd floor, where Courtney told me I belonged in the kitchen. The lawyer, Mr. Lionel Hebert Jr., handed me a folder as thick as the Biloxi phone book and said, "Miss Marlene, you are now the richest woman between New Orleans and Mobile. What would you like to do first? I told him. First, I'd like a manicure. Then I want to meet my property manager. The property manager for Azure Towers turned out to be a nervous little man named Justin who wore way too much cologne. I made an appointment for the following Monday at 9 a.m. sharp. That Monday, I put on the same navy blue chiffon dress, the one Courtney said made me look comfortable, and I drove my Crown Vic straight to the front door. This time, the valet nearly broke his neck running to open my door when Justin came out and whispered who I was. I walked into that lobby like I owned the place because, well, I did. Justin showed me the books. Travis and Courtney had bought their penthouse with a mortgage, but they were 3 payments behind. Seems Travis's boat dealership had hit some rough water when the interest rates went up. They were living on credit cards and Courtney's commissions. I asked Justin, real sweet, do the HOA rules still say no washing cars in the garage, no loud music after 10, and no more than 6 guests at the rooftop pool without prior approval? He said, yes, ma'am, they surely do. Good, I said. Start enforcing every single one of them. Starting today. The very first thing I did was send a certified letter to every unit owner, announcing the new ownership and the return to strict adherence to original covenants. I signed it, Marlene R. Thibodeau, majority owner. Courtney called me that same night, her voice shaking. Mama Marlene, is this some kind of joke? You own Azure? Our Azure? Baby girl, I said. I own the sky your balcony looks at. She started crying about how it was all a misunderstanding, how they never meant to hurt my feelings, how they were just trying to protect their image. I let her cry. Then I told her the HOA was raising the monthly fees by 15% to establish a reserve fund, effective immediately. Travis got on the phone next, yelling about how I was ruining his birthday, ruining his reputation. I just waited till he ran out of breath. Son, I said, calm as a Sunday morning. You put your mama at a card table next to the dishwasher. You don't get to yell at me now. Then I hung up. Over the next 6 weeks, I made some changes. My revenge wasn't loud or flashy. It was quiet, and it was legal. I started with the little things. I had the valets start parking cars strictly according to HOA rules, meaning no overnight parking for non-residents. Travis's friends, who used to leave their luxury cars there all weekend, suddenly had to find other arrangements. Then I enforced the noise ordinance. The very next Saturday, Courtney tried to throw another one of her rooftop parties. At 10:01 p.m., security was knocking on her door with a violation notice. The music stopped, and I heard from Justin that she was absolutely furious. The fines started adding up. The final piece of the puzzle was their finances. They were already behind, and with the increased HOA fees and the fines, they were drowning. They missed their 4th mortgage payment, then their 5th. The bank sent the first notice of foreclosure. Courtney called me begging. She offered to host a family dinner, just us, at the penthouse. She said she'd cook herself. I just said, no thank you, dear. I have other plans. My plan was this. I hired that sweet young caterer, the one who was so kind to me, and gave her the capital to start her own high-end catering business. Her first official event was a party I hosted, not in the penthouse, but in the building's grand ballroom, which I had renovated. I invited everyone from St. Michael's, all my bingo friends, all the people who knew me as just Miss Marlene. As for Travis and Courtney, they had to sell. They couldn't afford the penthouse anymore. They ended up moving into a small rental in a much less glamorous part of town. Travis had to sell his boat. I heard Courtney was still selling timeshares, but without the fancy penthouse to show off, it was a lot harder. Sometimes Travis calls. He's more humble now. He apologizes. He says he misses my banana nut bread. I told him maybe one day he can come over to my porch for a slice. But not yet. See, this was never about the money. It was about respect. It was about a son forgetting where he came from and a mother reminding him. And let me tell you, that reminder was a whole lot sweeter than any bingo jackpot. Thanks for listening to my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, darlin', down here on the Gulf Coast, we serve it with a smile and a glass of sweet tea. It all started when my son Travis married that girl, Courtney. She came from money, or so she said, and suddenly, my boy thought he was too good for his own mama. They moved into this fancy penthouse 22 floors up, looking down on the rest of us. Courtney once told me, "Marlene, your happy place is the kitchen." I just smiled. Little did she know, I was cooking up something special just for her. The first course was served in June. I'm the president of the condo association, you see. A handy little position, so I had the rooftop hot tub drained for unexpected repairs. For the entire month. Then I scheduled fire alarm testing. Every Tuesday. At 6 in the morning. Sharp. Oh, and the landscaping? I hired a new company. Their leaf blowers had a real special way of starting right at 5:30 a.m., directly under Travis and Courtney's master bedroom window. It was music to my ears. Courtney had this big, gaudy sectional sofa out on her balcony. She was so proud of it. So I sent my assistant, Justin, up to Unit 22 with a tape measure. Well, what do you know? Her brand new sofa violated the Homeowners Association size rule by a whole 14 inches. I sent her a certified letter. She had 30 days to remove it or face daily fines. Suddenly, my calls weren't getting answered. Travis started leaving these voicemails, going from angry to practically begging. I just let him pile up. Patience, you see, is a virtue, and I am a very virtuous woman. Finally, one Sunday in July, I decided it was time for the main event. I put on my new magnolia white linen dress, the one with the little pearl buttons. I had my hair done real nice at the Beau Rivage salon. Then I took the private elevator, my private elevator, all the way up to the 22nd floor. When Courtney opened the door, she looked a fright. Yoga pants, mascara from the day before smeared under her eyes. The whole place was a disaster zone. Moving boxes everywhere, laundry piled up, old pizza cartons. And there was my Travis, passed out on the couch next to an empty bottle of Jack Daniels. The second she saw me, the waterworks started. "Mama Marlene, please," she sobbed. "The bank called this morning. They're starting foreclosure if we don't catch up on 2 payments by Friday. We're ruined." I stepped inside, careful not to let my dress brush against anything. "Baby," I said, real sweet like, "y'all ruined yourselves the night you decided blood don't matter as much as image." That woke Travis up. He started spouting off about lawsuits and harassment. I just let him finish. I have all the time in the world. When he finally ran out of steam, I placed a manila folder on their coffee table, right on top of a sticky pizza box. Inside was a cashier's check. It was for the exact amount they owed the bank, plus a little extra to clear out all their credit card debt. Courtney's eyes got as big as dinner plates. "You'd do that for us?" she whispered. "On one condition," I said. "Y'all move out by the end of the month. I already found you a nice little 3-bedroom over in D'Iberville. They even take Section 8 if you need it. The rent's real reasonable." Travis started cussing a blue streak. Courtney just stared at that check like it was a snake about to strike. "Oh, and there's something else," I added. I strolled out onto their balcony. Well, my balcony now, and took a deep breath of that salty Gulf air. I'm turning this penthouse into a hospitality suite for the St. Michael's Church bingo ladies. I let that sink in for a moment. Every Friday night, 25 of my dearest friends are going to be up here, playing cards, eating my famous banana nut bread, and watching the sunset from this very balcony. We might even put a bingo machine right where your dining table used to be. Courtney made this little noise, something like a dying seagull. I turned around and gave her the same smile I used to give Travis when he was a boy, and tracked mud all over my clean floors. "Courtney Ray," I said, "you told me my happy place was the kitchen. Well, bless your heart, yours is about to be a duplex off Pops Ferry Road." They moved out on July 29th. It took 3 U-Hauls and a whole ocean of tears. The minute they were gone, my crew got to work. I had the walls painted a soft, sunny yellow. We put in new carpet, a special kind that doesn't show bingo marker stains. And of course, a giant big screen TV for watching Wheel of Fortune. Now every Friday you can find 25 of us ladies up there in our Sunday best, laughing so loud you can probably hear us all the way down on the beach. Sometimes Travis drives by on Highway 90. I see his truck slow down and he looks up. I always make sure to give him a little wave from my balcony, with my magnolia white dress on and a daiquiri in my hand. He just keeps on driving. The Bible says pride goeth before a fall. Well, Courtney and Travis fell a real long way. Me? I just rose a little higher. 22 floors to be exact. And every time that sun sets over the Mississippi Sound, I thank Cousin Delton, the good Lord, and the glorious game of bingo. Because sometimes, when you've got nothing left but a $5 card and a dream, the Lord marks you an 075 that nobody ever saw coming. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.